What?
Move along. Well, I guess it's a work session, even if we end early, we're still here.
Definitely.
We're in it to win it.
What?
Sorry, what did you say?
What did you say?
I was just listening to Mary.
Hey, how are you? You feel lonely over there?
I don't think anybody feels lonely. Father's Day.
At the dinner table, we're in exact the same situation.
Are you,
Earlier.
all right, can we start?
Yeah.
Since we have Elizabeth here to
Yes.
tune in for us. Do we tip you after this too?
Sorry?
Well, because you were serving drinks.
Moonlight, I know a place.
What?
You want moonlight, I know a place.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't say, what's the cost for tickets for that, kid?
$70.
Okay, we're starting. This is the work session for the Town of Georgetown Board of Selectmen on June 23rd. We are discussing lights. Let there be light. Present is myself, Mary Smith, Wayne Bazinski, Amanda Cooper, Mike Huggins, Rich Barrows, Town Administrator Dennis Durham, Assistant Administrator Keisha Hart, Town Clerk. I want to make sure you're still there, Larry. And we have someone in our audience. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you tonight?
Hi, this is Elizabeth Szymanski. I'm with Elevation Holiday Lighting.
Hi, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, we're being a little casual. It's a summer day. It's a beautiful summer night, evening, afternoon in Georgetown. So
I love it.
being
These
a little
are
bit,
these are my favorite type of meetings.
yes, yes.
I wish I could join you in person. I'm out at my parents' farm in Michigan right now on a family vacation.
Oh, whereabouts in Michigan?
Fenton. It's kind of a little northeast of Ann Arbor, just south of Flint.
Is that like your old stepping grounds, stomping grounds?
My
Okay.
husband grew up there.
No, see, your town clerk's husband grew up there.
Love
So
it.
you're among friends. So I know you've been dealing with Georgia Kofed. She's not here tonight. She had some personal things come up, good personal things come up. So I apologize for her not being here to help introduce this whole idea. So I guess it's all on me, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm one third of a team here. Georgia and I started talking with Elizabeth and Michael about a year ago. The idea was some way to lighten up and brighten up the Argentine corridor. That's the seed of the idea. And I have to say, over the time, it's been a start and stop, and Michael and Elizabeth have been wonderful and helping of our vision here. And the presentation that you have in front of you this evening is a very comprehensive, long-term vision of what the town would be considering. And the ideas that their team have put together. But Elizabeth, if you could, please help the board understand a little bit about your background, other communities that you're working with, and then what you did to approach our vision for Georgetown.
Yeah, happily. So we have had Elevation Holiday Lighting for about 10 years. We started in Breckenridge, started kind of knocking on doors and hanging lights on houses, and have slowly grown the company organically over the last 10 years. So we specialize and focus in commercial holiday lighting. So we do large retail establishments, and we really love working with municipalities. So right now we do the Christmas lights in Breckenridge, we do them in Dillon. We do them in the town of Estes Park and Longmont. So we operate throughout Summit County and then kind of up and down the Front Range, a little bit south of Denver, all the way up to Estes Park. The way that, I mean, my background, just so you know, I started in finance. I didn't start in holiday lights, but Mike and I both met doing grad school over in the UK. And as we started a family, we wanted a business that could, be flexible and spend time with the kids in the summertime. Really, the idea around lights is placemaking. So what we really love about lights is when it brings community together, when it really changes an environment, gives people an opportunity to engage with people. So that's really the focus that we take to design. Our business model is that we own all of the lights. And so you don't have to worry about anything. We do the installation, we do all of the maintenance, we do all of the takedown, we store all of the lights. You don't have to worry about buying new lights every couple of years. And then you'll see in the proposal that the lights we're actually proposing have their own way of changing too, which I'm pretty excited about. That would be one of the first times it's a new technology that we're excited to put into play. But yeah, so we also do lots of large, like I said, retail installations. So we do like Southlands Mall, Belmar, Northfield, if you're familiar with some of the bigger shopping complexes down on the Front Range. We do have a team that is based up in Summit County full time through the fall. And then we do have a 24-hour turnaround on any maintenance requests. We also do weekly maintenance checks on all of the lights to make sure everything is looking great. So yeah, that's a little bit about us and how we got started.
So has everyone here had a chance to go through this proposal, or would you like or to walk through some of the highlights? I think some of the highlights would probably be good.
Yeah.
Okay,
If you want, yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, are you guys okay if I just share it on the screen?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yep. Don't get overwhelmed by the number of tabs that I have open.
That's okay.
All right. Can you guys see that all right?
Yeah, good.
All right, great. So the overview here is what we really want to do is make Georgetown or help to make Georgetown more of a year-round destination. And so just so you know, we have flexibility in the way that we propose this. But right now, what we're actually proposing are some components that are holiday specific and some components that are year-round for the lights. And the idea here really is to sort of strengthen placemaking, the perceived quality, increase the walkability of the town, and really encourage tourists to stay and explore. You know, when we met with Dennis, we talked a lot about the data around people coming off of I-70 and going to the gas station and then getting back on I-70. And the idea is really to help pull people in off of the corridor into the downtown area and explore Georgetown and stay. So there we are. That kind of gets into this, which is the right ingredients are here, you know, to focusing on increasing tourism. You have I-70, you know, it's a major corridor. You're connected to you know, both the Front Range and the Summit County area. It's a national historic landmark. You already have lots of the visitors that are flowing into the town, and so the focus here is to get them to stay. I don't need to double click on this one because it's the idea of creating a year-round destination. So what we did, Dennis and I had a chat about breaking this down into different phases. So as he mentioned, this is a comprehensive look at how we could start with one piece and then work towards something that would be a bigger vision later on. So what we talked about was in phase one, doing year-round lighting on 6th Street, highlighting the downtown area. And in phase, sorry. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something. Please feel free to jump in if I'm talking too fast.
You're okay.
Right. So phase two would be doing year-round lighting along the Argentine corridor and the roundabout coming off of I-70. So that's both parts of the Argentine corridor. Phase three would be a kind of a holiday overlay. And so that would really be focused on 6th Street with decor and specific holiday lighting. Phase four is the gazebos and the giant tree. And then
giant tree is gone. Just so you know.
Yes, I did. I did know that. We actually built this proposal and then it fell. But we were talking about other trees that are in the park that are also big that could be an option.
A wannabe giant tree.
Yes. And then I was so excited about that tree and just heartbroken when I heard it fell. And then phase five would be holiday decor along the Argentine corridor. So let's look at phases one and two. So the idea here on 6th Street would be, and you'll see how it complements phase two with what we're proposing along Argentine, is to focus on kind of classic warm white lighting. So what we would do is use C9s, which are larger bulbs, and you can see them here in the trees. This is actually in Blue River Plaza in Breckenridge. We would wrap the aspens, and those are big aspens there along 6th Street with the warm white C9 lights with 2-foot spacing. The idea here is that is a classic light that lasts year round. And so it's warm. You can use it in the summer with concerts. You can use it in, you know, the winter, and it has kind of that classic Christmas feeling. When you pair it with, you'll see some of the other things that we're talking about in terms of a decor overlay for 6th Street. But the idea here is that it would give it year-round appeal. The way that that works on our end is we install the lights and then we regularly maintain them, update them. We generally have to take them down depending on the size of the tree and how fast they're growing. We generally have to come in and take them down about once a year, and then rehang them to allow the trees to continue growing. I do just want to flag, I'm not sure where you guys are in your dark sky proposals yet. Yep. So happy to talk about that. You know, we've been working with Breckenridge in meeting kind of their dark sky requirements. We can put timers on the trees to turn them off in the evening. I know Breckenridge has made the decision that they're not going to do this type of lighting in the summertime. So I don't know if that's something that you guys are talking about as well. Estes Park is also exploring their dark sky, but they're not as far along. But I'm happy to share any learnings, you know, that we have in working with those towns as well. So yes, we can add timers to all of the trees and have the lights turn off at a certain time as well. And then what would complement this is phase 2, which is the trees that are along well, we'll start with the roundabout island here. The lights that we want to use are what's called RGBWs. And so it's that same large C9 bulb, but these ones are actually color changing. And it's a newer technology that's out. It's the exact same string that we use for the warm white lights, and we assemble the lights. But they can actually change from, it's a really wide variety. It's not just red, green, you know, blue and white. There's I think it's, you know, over 200 different colors that you can change it to. They're all going to be, you know, it depends on how many we have in there. We would come in and probably set the colors for you. And we can, you know, set it up to do, you know, a couple times a year. I'm also happy to train someone on your team if you guys want to have the ability to change the colors yourself. But the idea is to do the roundabout in a very dense wrap. So, you know, when I was talking about the aspens down on 6th Street, those would kind of have 2-foot spacing around. This would be very dense. You know, the trees that are on the roundabout, you know, some of them are evergreen, some of them are deciduous. The ones that are deciduous, we can wrap on the branches. The ones that are evergreen, we would do a tight kind of globe wrap. But the idea here is we can change the colors. So you could have it be red, white, and blue for the 4th of July. You could have it be, you know, green for St. Patrick's Day. You could go green and red during Christmas and then change it to blue and white, you know, in January. And we're proposing to use the same lights along the Argentine corridor, in those cottonwoods that are going up and down the corridor. And then I know that there's new cottonwoods that are being planted, or I don't know if they have been planted yet, but we could add those, you know, moving down towards the reservoir as well. I love this idea. I think, you know, this is something that's bright, it's colorful, it's visible from I-70. It gives you sort of like, you know, it will catch people's eye, and the lights are leading all the way up to 6th Street and going right downtown. So I think, you know, and these are also lights where, again, we can add timers to them. Generally, what we see on these type of trees that are lit and we're tying into power, usually off of the lamp posts, they're on photo cells. But like I said, you know, to tie in with dark sky, we can also add those on timers. So that is phase 1 and 2. Before I jump into, you know, 3, 4, and 5, did anybody have any questions about that part?
My only question was that dark sky ordinance that we have, and how does all this fit in with that?
Yep.
I'm sure Dennis and you guys have done some research there. The other piece is that when lights would come on 6th Street, there's nothing open.
Well,
And
hopefully I would want that to change maybe.
right, and so that's why I would like to see the faces change. We do have some businesses that are open off the roundabout and down Argentine. And it might be a good incentive for folks that have businesses here. Hey, if we do have something where they come off and might spend $1, then that might be incentive for you to stay open. And that's why, to me, the phase in piece of it would look different if you use it as an incentive for folks down here. Right now, there's very few places where that open after 5 o'clock where folks can stop and get something to eat. And those are the folks that you want to drive, come down Sixth Street, so.
But remember too, on Sixth Street, the only trees are really at Library Stage, they, in the library, which will soon be something else. And Strauss Park, we don't, so you're also talking, Elizabeth, about lights going from building to building across the street, is that part of this? Good.
That's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
sorry, I'm jumping phases.
Real quick, phase 1 and 2, is it just budgetary, why we're separating them, and how separate we would be?
I don't necessarily think that the phases mean year 1, year 2, it just is the order by which we want to.
The order of operations.
And from what Rich's comments are, I think he suggested flip flop 2 and 1. Start at the roundabout, show the success of doing people, then
About that.
It
As
can
you
happen all at
drive
once.
down
Yeah.
Argentine to Sixth Street.
Right. It's
I
a
wanna,
welcome
I
in the
want to
boardroom.
discuss that, after we get through, because I don't disagree, but I almost feel like it's a chicken and an egg problem, like.
Let's let her
Yeah.
continue, because that's more
Sure.
for us to decide
Yeah.
than for her presentation. So,
Before-
I wanna know.
Before Elizabeth moves on to number 3, though, this is, I think, a distinction between doing some stuff immediately for retaining.
Yeah.
And then also planning for the future for our Christmas stuff, because you notice, I mean, it didn't take me long to figure that some of those things are worn and need to be replaced anyway, we gotta put some money in. And I think when we start talking about this is where 3, 4, and 5 really address that. So go ahead, Elizabeth.
Great. And just to let you know too, as those conversations continue around the phases, my team has capacity to do any or all of this at once. So however you guys want to do things, just so you know, it's not we shouldn't be restricted from a capacity standpoint on my end. So the idea with the holiday overlay for downtown was to kind of lean into that retro classic Christmas, go with, a very traditional lush greens, the reds, the multicolored tree. The idea here is really kind of leaning into the historic nostalgia of the town. So what we were proposing was to densely wrap that evergreen that's right there at 6th and Rose with colored mini lights, and then add, I don't actually have a picture of it here, but I'm happy to send one to you. We use commercial grade silver ornaments, and they're large. They come in a variety of sizes. And usually what we do is a mix between matte and glossy. And so what that does, and then we would also put a white star topper on top of the tree. What that does is it gives the tree a daytime presence with the silver, and then the silver really complements the multicolored tree at night. The reason we were proposing multicolor is because you're going to have those warm white lights in the aspens. And so this will really make that tree with a very dense wrap really stand out. And then the winter market that's around, by where the tree is, we were proposing to put an 18-inch Olympia pine garland. So that's kind of a very large, lush garland, swooped along the roof line with those red bows that you can see right there with the gold trim. This is all commercial grade. It's meant to be outside in the sun, in the weather. We're proposing 24-inch, and so those would kind of be where the swoops are. We would also have that garland lit. And then we're also proposing to replace the existing garland wraps on the 22 lamp posts that are right now along 6th Street and around Strauss Park with that same matching garland. So it would wrap around the outside, lit with warm white mini lights, and then we would top each one with the matching bow. For the buildings downtown, what we had talked about was lining the street-facing roof lines with warm white C9s. For those, we would use 12-inch spacing instead of the 24-inch spacing, just because they're smaller roof lines. But it would be those same large lights that we have up in the aspens. So it'll match that whole 6th Street kind of feel with the warm white lights, evoke that kind of like winter season ambiance. What we had talked about was doing the post office, library, town hall, community center, and also adding the Olympia pine garland along the roof lines there. One of the things that we had chatted about with Dennis was, and we did this up in Estes Park as well. As long as we're here and we have the whole town or the whole team in, we can also work with some of the smaller, businesses in town to offer lighting at a discounted price on their buildings if they want, since we wouldn't have to make a separate special trip up. And I have a whole list of, Dennis had so many great ideas around different businesses that we could tie in with. So, if you choose to move forward with this, I'd love to connect with them and see if we could pull some more people into have that matching lighting. We'd also talked about the 6th Street, the library gazebo and the city park gazebo. And so originally we had talked about permanent roofline lighting, but I think it would actually just be, more cost effective on your side to do that same C9 lights. What we would do is put them up on the inside of the gazebo, actually probably in the city park one. It would be right there along the edge if you can see where the yellow is. We can keep those in year round if you want to, if you're using those for, I think you guys do music in the summertime on the one, at the library. And then what we were saying too is that we could also add kind of seasonal warm white mini light wraps around the support poles and the railing. So that would, if you are doing the C9s in there year round, then that would sort of give it kind of, again, that kind of classic holiday overlay. We absolutely could add garland here too if you wanted. I think it just depends on if people are using the support rails. If they're using the support rails and holding on to them, we don't generally want to add garland to those, but we could put them around the top of the gazebo as well. And then this was the idea that I was super excited about. So the tree before it fell would have been the tallest living Christmas tree in Colorado. The current record is held by Berthoud. I don't have the measurements of the other trees that we had talked about. Dennis, I don't know if you know those offhand, but we had talked about doing something, and having a big tree. Whether or not it would actually have the title of the largest one in Colorado, I don't know yet. But the beautiful thing about this idea is there would be a lot of earned media from it. I mean, first of all, it's visible from I-70. And second of all, it would be, yeah, I mean, it's a huge photo opportunity. Again, we can put this on timers so that, you can have the lights go off at, 9 or 10 p.m. so it's not bothering people in the neighborhood. Create a lot of beautiful town traditions around the lighting ceremony for the tree. We see, we have a lot of different communities that do big tree lightings and create all kinds of little, go find, this in town and check it off the list. So little kind of hunt and seek activities for the kids, things that get the community together. So if that's still a possibility with one of the larger trees in the park, I'd love to see this as kind of a strong anchor point for the community. And then this was, a slide just kind of talking about some different ideas that we had with events that could be centered around the tree. And then the last thing that we were proposing was the lamp posts that are along Argentine up and down. These are snowflakes that would go on the side of the lamp posts, tie into the power there. What I like about the snowflakes is that they have seasonality beyond just Christmas. And so you can keep them up, through the winter season if you want. And again, you'll have that beautiful pop of color up and down in the cottonwoods. And so then the kind of white snowflake gives it a more specific holiday overlay. Again, you have the high visibility from I-70 on that. And then these are the pricing for the different phases. And so just so we're clear, this is all inclusive where we provide all of the lights, all of the labor, all of the maintenance, installation, takedown. And these are annual costs. So we have phase 1 and phase 2 with the 6th Street lighting and the Argentine corridor as year round. And then for the holiday lighting and decor on 6th Street, the gazebo and the giant tree and the decor on Argentine, we have those as just sort of a holiday overlay. So generally what we do is install those, it's up to you, but in November. And then on the Front Range, usually the holiday decor comes down right after the stock show. But up in Summit County, we generally see that coming down, the very holiday specific decor in January, and then things like the snowflakes, we see probably coming down in like end of March, early April. But we have flexibility on those pieces. So
Let
I
me
will
just
pause
jump-
there. Yeah.
Let me just jump in and put this in the back of your mind for the lighting after Christmas.
Yes.
We typically honor the whole stock show piece.
Great.
But then also we have a pond hockey tournament
Oh,
in early February.
President's Day
weekend, yeah. So, which is a big draw for this community, and so that would be a reason to extend the lighting through that, if not, there's been discussion and another commission can take this up at a further time, but to extend it through spring break. Those have gone down in seats. Just to throw that out there to you. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's it. Keep going.
No, that was what I had. I mean, yeah, I'll pause there and happy to answer any questions. Like I said, we have a lot of flexibility on our end. So, and this is, kind of a comprehensive multi-phase, proposal. But I do love the idea. We've talked a lot about, tying in the visitor center, tying in local businesses. So I think that, once we kind of put the groundwork for a plan together, meeting with other members of the community and seeing who else is interested in having additional lighting would be something we'd be super interested in.
Thank you. So this is just a work session, so we're just here to gather information, but if anyone has any questions for Elizabeth, or we can continue our discussion and then.
Yeah, I have a question if you don't mind. Does it have to be phased in or all put in at once in this order? Or if we wanted to do holiday lighting and decor, holiday decor, see how that went over? And then decided to do add more phases the next year, would that work for you guys as a business?
Totally. I have lots of flexibility. So you let me know what works for you and we will find a way to make it happen on our end.
I have a question too. Elizabeth, first up, thank you so much for your great presentation. I was trying to look up pictures of Estes, but all of us, I think, have been to Breckenridge many, many times, and Breckenridge has a very, niche ambiance that is such a great draw, especially in the winter when it's miserable around these parts and there's really nothing to do other than, ski and look at great things. If we did the year-round proposals, are they permanent? Or is it, as you said, the costs are annual, so would we have to, if we're looking just specifically at the year-round stuff, would we have to do the 86,000 annually with you guys, and the 32,000 annually, or is there an option for us to have like an instant permanent installation?
So generally, so what I've proposed here is an annual cost, just to answer your first question. Yes. And so what that means is that once we install the lights, we'll maintain them, if there's any issues. And then, as I mentioned, I think a little earlier, I'm not sure, the trees grow. And so they're going to be growing at, different rates. If they're smaller, they grow faster. We generally have to unwrap. We don't do too many year-round installations. This was just something specific that we were proposing for Georgetown. But we will have to bring in the boom trucks and unwrap the lights and then rewrap them so that the trees have more room to grow. And then we generally wind up having to add lights to them as they're growing. So these prices would be all inclusive of that. If you are interested in kind of doing a one-time installation, we have done that in the past. I will say, the problem you run into is that, like I was saying, the trees grow or, the trees, or sometimes, the lights can go out. And given these are big trees, they require boom lifts for us to go up there and do the maintenance on them. And so, and then, the life of the lights, if you're going to have them in the trees going year round, will probably be, my guess is 3 years. You might get 4 out of them going year round. And so the cost, this is an annual cost. So if you were interested in purchasing the lights and having us install them, I could put something like that together. I wouldn't recommend it for the reasons that I said, but we're totally open to it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
So, there's no proposal for the building lights of the 6th Street on that, if there are.
There's no, for the individual buildings?
Yeah, or lining the buildings or stretching across.
No, not the, not across the street.
But so does the 6th Street cost include lighting up town hall, the library building, community center? Or is it just the post office and the post office? We don't know when it the.
Trying to get those.
The pricing.
That's an extra cost.
She mentioned it.
So Elizabeth, the question is, does the phase 3
Yes.
cost $24.50 involve the building line lights for the town hall, post office, community center?
Okay, let me see here. Just looking at so the building roof line, you're asking about the building roof line lights?
Correct.
But not
Okay.
the entire Sixth Street stretch, just the key buildings that the town controls.
Okay, we have that in phase 3 right now in the cost. What we did was we just dropped in about 1,000 feet of roof line lights into the proposal. And so just take a look here. Yeah. So which buildings the lights get affixed to, we're flexible on that. And if you wanted to do less than 1,000 feet, that's fine as well. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So it's my understanding, Dennis, you can probably clarify this a little bit more. In my earlier conversation with Georgia, you guys have been working on this for a while. You've researched or reached out to different companies that have a similar business, and we are limited in who will come out to Georgetown basically to provide this type of service. Not every lighting company is going to do this, and so because they've done Summit and they are out here in the mountains and have that, that's why we're seeing this proposal.
That's correct.
So
There's two things going on, as you said. We don't have a lot of contractors offering their services to the area, but also their company is just very impressive on the projects that they're already doing. We know that if we were to engage them, we would be in good hands and they would take care of us in a way that we weren't fielding calls all the time about the lights being out on one block and having to scurry around and have those done before Christmas market starts. So they're just an impressive company. Michael and Elizabeth both are very open to the ideas that we've had, as crazy as some of them are. Yeah, they've been very great to work with. And the reason that it's before you this evening is because we've had these conversations and we get caught up. I know George and I get caught up in, oh, we could do this, or we could do that, or we could do this. And then we see the price tag and so, oh, no, we can't do anything. So we keep going back and forth, and we just thought, this is a time where we need to have a work session and talk about this. Elizabeth needs to hear from more than just the two of us and a little about what's going on. And if the board wants to move forward with this, then I think it's incumbent upon me and staff to figure out how we're gonna pay for that and how we would recommend to you how we want to kind of phase this in.
Well, I'm glad, 'cause that was gonna be my question to you, is how do we afford this?
but I think this is also coming to us in a timely fashion.
No, it's
that-
good, I'm glad it's June and
Well,
not
especially because of,
October.
certain phases. Yes, we can see what money might be available for this budget year, but this also gives us an opportunity to discuss some of these additional phases, or depending on how we were to phase this in. As Elizabeth even said, one of the communities doesn't do it in the summertime, or, because it's light until almost 9 o'clock, and so the lights aren't as effective. Type situation, so I think this also gives us some long-term ideas for some of this, and. So probably phase 4 is, not quite that much because we don't have a giant tree anymore. To sound cynical as I am.
Oh, I found a giant tree.
You found a
Well,
giant, just so is that.
There's 4 of them.
So really quick though, so let me, if I can just kind of ask a couple of clarifying points for you, sir. We had a proposal, and I think you probably remember this, Rich, and years ago. With BPC where they wanted to do permanent lighting on Sixth Street across the street. And it was not well received by DRC. And in fact, I think DRC is who ultimately took it. How do we, this is an idea I support, but how is this, what do we do? How do you plan on navigating that? Just to get right to.
So that is the most sensitive part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything else sounds great, but putting the lights on the buildings is gonna be a task, granted. I don't wanna just throw this out as nonchalantly, but pretty sure that the board can decide to do whatever they want to do, right? So the DRC could say, we don't like lights on the building, but the board could say, we do, and we are gonna vote yes to do that.
Can we do that?
Yes.
So it's not just a matter, it's not just a matter of lights on the building, though.
I understand, yeah,
Because
so,
lights are in compliance with,
With.
or to see how we could modify certain areas of it so that DRC.
and Rich, this was, I wanna say, 7 8 years ago. It was not, I mean, this was probably, when this came up, and it was it became very dicey, and ultimately it was, that was the reason of the project, it was called BPC. Started the project. Wanted it done. Selectmen, and it kind of became split with selectmen, and then I think ultimately, the DRC. Opinion was likely the catalyst for that.
I don't,
With that said, I don't wanna be insensitive to the role of DRC,
Correct.
absolutely. But that's also 8 years ago, right?
Sure.
The economic situation at Georgetown is different.
Correct.
And I look at these phases this way, the Argentine one is easy, it's in the gateway district, right? It
Yeah.
is supposed to be for commercial economic development, so to me, the lighting of Argentine corridor to make it visible from the I-70 and show the runway to Sixth Street is to me a slam dunk.
100%.
It makes all the sense in the world.
I'm not sure I would use that term when you're
Okay.
approaching different people in this community,
Not
though.
about slam dunk.
No, the runway, okay, it goes along with the girls. We've had issues with lighting with DRC and Sixth Street for years. And
Yes.
though we may disagree with that and have a different opinion on that, we need to have DRC's input. We need BPC's input. I don't want Elizabeth to have to come back and do another presentation. I think it's easy enough for us to share this link. I mean, because you're not gonna be able to answer any of the questions to our own internal commissions more than what you've already presented. But I think this link can be shared with them. I also think this might be an opportunity that we would want to go to a town hall or charrette type thing to get community input, because Elizabeth, you have strong feelings about colored lights and white lights and the impact that it has. And so does every person in this town, and we have had fights over it,
Yeah.
which were before Dennis's time.
I noticed that you live in Netherlands, so you understand small town dynamics.
Yeah, no, this is, first of all, not the first council I've presented to. Second of all, not the first like community where everyone has had.
This is just honest information
Yeah.
that you know
Just trying to
that
be
Totally.
every deal.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, I will just say too, that if you do choose to, do community outreach, any town halls, Mike and I are more than happy to come up and present in person, and, we won't take anything personally.
Oh, no,
But
and that would be more suitable, but I think for the commissions, I'd really like to see these links, this link go
I agree.
out to at least those
I
other
think-
two.
Is there, can I ask a favor though? I think that if we take it this way and just say, here, look. And that people start looking at numbers, it will cloud the real issue here. The real issue is the appropriateness of the dressing. Okay, so if there's agreement here, I can have Elizabeth change the presentation to be a little bit more focused on the actual lights themselves and where they're gonna go, and have that conversation about that. And then we can reconvene and say, okay, listen, everybody loves the idea of Argentine. Let's start really digging into how much it's gonna cost and what we're gonna do here. And then we would be considering Elizabeth's offer to develop a proposal that would be a one-time fee. And then maybe we could have an ongoing maintenance agreement with them to come in when we need to, so maybe it would soften the blow on the funds needed out of the gate. But I think if we just hand it to them like it is today, and say, please comment. 9 comments out of 10 are gonna be, that's way too much money.
Yeah, so that's, and I think. Yes, 100%.
But so strategically, we have to identify the reason that we're doing this, and even though the ambiance is great, we're trying to bring in the economic support to the community at large, to Sixth Street, to Argentine, both ways.
Yeah, and when you talk to when you sit in on some of the EDC meetings, and they're talking about retaining for leakage. This is one of those projects that can have that directly. I feel like, and that is the story that has to be told. This is an economic development initiative.
Yeah.
And when you're selling it to the community. Having like 3 and 5, those phases, holiday, you do the Christmas market, it'll enhance that. That helps soften the blow for year-round stuff. Once they see how nice it is. You have a lot better chance of selling it, like. When I do a lot of projects, I'll pilot something in a smaller way. Knowing that if I do a really good job, everybody wants to get on that train. And I think that you may wanna think about that in your presentation or.
That, Alex Sue has a question. We did try to promote him. Do you want to click allow to talk, Rich, and see if he'll do it that way? Yeah.
When I've done this in other communities, the pushback on the colored lights is there from the beginning, but as soon as they go up. And they see that first Valentine's Day color change, it changes everybody's view.
That's not the colored part of the lights that I'm worried about.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, that I think we have to put into, if we're supporting this, as this continues down the path. Is over the last couple of years, what we have spent on holiday lighting, just the holiday lighting aspect, because we had,
You spend tens of
just a
thousands
couple
of
of years
dollars.
ago, yeah,
It was
we had,
like 20
we
minutes.
put some, exactly,
Never mind about staff time.
yeah, no, I agree.
That'd be good data to maybe kind of.
So, but I think that offsets some of this, because this is what it looked like. Or even if we could, as a demo, do a very small section of Strauss Park, whatever, to show them, to show
How
the
it
community what it might be.
Lynette asked, and I think Elizabeth, this is a question for you. When you say Argentine Street, do you mean from 6th all the way to 22nd or just the roundabout?
I say just roundabout right now, right?
Don't ignore the possibilities and the potential of what's happening on Argentine down towards the lake.
Right.
And if we're at any point, we're trying
But
to
right now,
encourage lake activities or ice activities.
people know there's lake there. We don't need to guide them to the lake.
You wanna stretch the runway.
No one knows where the downtown this way.
No, but it is both ways though, Mary, and I agree with Mary, because with the sidewalk there, the lights, we walk it more because it's nice.
We spent
Be kind of
millions of
shame
dollars on
I'd be
it.
ashamed if we wouldn't add lights to that. You know, and that's where people are gonna see it, when you're coming around the lake on the highway, if you notice lights there. Then you're like, oh, let's go check that out, if you're already at the exit, you know, it's lights, and you pass it, you're not going to sell it to the front box, right? So it's a bit.
And then Alex, you are able to unmute and ask your question if you'd like, whatever you feel like.
Or not, or type it in. It's only a work session.
So while I'm waiting for Alex. Elizabeth, on the last question.
Yes.
The quote and proposal you've given us is the section between 6th and the roundabout, correct?
It is for the lights, yes, in phase 2, because at least when I was up there, the cottonwoods on the down to the reservoir hadn't been planted yet. We absolutely can include them. Right now I have, I think we have 28 cottonwoods around the visitor center and leading north. But the very last phase 6, that has the snowflakes, I did include the lamp posts going all the way down to the reservoir.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
The new cottonwoods look pretty Charlie Brown right now. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, about half a string.
They're not completely like that yet, but the light post is there too. Like maybe cottonwood.
Maybe next year, but I don't think we should be ignoring the potential, or even maybe at the intersection of 22nd and Argentine, and then.
Hey, we can always do the haunted forest and as a theme for the cottonwoods.
I think we need to
For
prune some
Halloween.
of the trees along. Alex, are you able to speak to us or no? No, going once, going twice. Does anyone else have any questions?
No. I think it's a very slick presentation. I'd like to see more research on it and specific about how it would be funded and feedback from commissions.
Okay, so the action items from tonight that I hear is we need to organize some type of public input with just a tweaked presentation. And then get that out there as soon as we possibly can and get feedback from people on this. Get that conversation started. And then we'll probably convene and discuss what we heard and chart the next couple steps.
Let's not get this, let's be careful how we're getting this out there. If we're going to have a community meeting, we're not doling it out in small increments, like link up to this. We want to be able to have a more of a formal presentation and feedback or even, I look at Amanda and I apologize. I'm looking at Dwayne for the SIPs coming up in July. This could be a topic that starts to be introduced in that format where we're one-on-one and we're getting the commentary back as opposed to, the grumble in the street that never comes back to us. And then we can turn it around and you guys can. If we don't have something more formal in between. I didn't know where you were going with getting it out to, like what, like.
We want it to everybody. We want as much comment as we can get. We don't just want to links go here because then.
Right, but I'd rather roll it out. I don't know, where does the rest of the board feel on this? Personally, I would rather roll it out in person first and then let everyone be able to look up.
How we communicate one-on-one is always better. It's like, it works for us, Alex, to go to SIPs, because that's kind of a perfect time, these couple weeks out, so.
Yeah,
So you got a couple weeks to get it together.
easy.
But
I don't know if it's wants to have us or towns, but not, to have us, so we're ready for us.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
That said, there are light poles from the roundabout 22nd Street that could have the snowflake lights on them.
Yep.
Let's see, oh, yeah.
Thank you for your feedback, everybody, in the direction.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank you.
it was really nice to meet you.
Thank you. And
Oh, it was-
we'll,
this has been so lovely. I'll just add, the notes that I had here were layering in, some data around reducing leakage, previous year spends, sort of that telling the story of the Economic Development Initiative. If you have data points on that and you want to send them to me, I'd be more than happy to work them into the presentation and, as Dennis was mentioning, kind of get you back something tweaked that you could, share with a broader audience. So just let me know what you guys need and I'm happy to support.
let's remember in any future presentations or any discussions with the community that even though we have been here since the 1800s, so has electricity.
Yes.
And so we want to reinforce that link that, lights are appropriate. But the energy museum right across the street, so
About light, the darkness rolls.
we don't have to walk around the stand with candles. But truly, that would be a point that you might want to just reinforce in any kind of an introduction, that you recognize the historic aspect of this community and,
Yep.
Edison has been
I
around.
mean,
a while.
the World's Fair in Chicago was all about electricity and lights, right? And that was 150 years ago.
That was probably before, Mrs. O'Leary's cow took over
I
the.
think if I had that.
Thank you, Elizabeth, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
all so
great
much.
Summer in Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Have a
for
great
sure.
summer.
Dennis, there's,
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
there's a way to get a decent estimate on staff time for up and
Yeah.
maintain those lights. And what we've spent the last couple of years, because when you're talking about budgetary impact. It may be tit for tat.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think we
Yeah.
can,
And that was
we can
Mary's
put together a pretty solid estimate. And work out even some escalation on what it's gonna cost the town in the next few years, just to put those up.
Took the Georgia
Georgia has a lot of
Breeze,
net data.
if you're
Yeah.
putting
The
anything,
Georgetown
we're putting
Breeze.
anything together, make sure it's for this current budget year. We're seeing where that's coming from.
That's a great idea.
Wouldn't that be?
Yeah. We'll work on that too.
Like your paycheck?
This first session's over, right?
Sure, we'll conclude this work session, unless anyone else has any. Okay,
Well, thank you to you and Georgia. I think it's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, this is a fun project to work on. Let the costs go up, the more I can make you happy.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, like. You mix that up all the time.
We're on, so we're ready.
No, I was waiting for the magic number.
Four.
Hey, Jerry,
Hey, there you go.
good, how are you?
I'm all right. All right. You think we're-
It's warm.
It was Boston.
There's actually-
Busted out the fan today.
Or so they're doing baseball sense.
On the start of the meeting, you always are small meeting, or is for all the
Parts of the, or on the stern part of that side.
So this is the. Oh, baseball sites.
Baseball sites,
Yeah.
Not great.
Some golf ball sites for the.
Oh, right.
So, now we're to the ball on third.
Yeah, there you go. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready? It's June 23rd, 2026 at 6 o'clock, the Board of Selectmen meeting for the town of Georgetown, all rise. And pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Town of Georgetown Board of Selectmen regular meeting agenda for Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Yes, I know, I just said that. Roll call. Madam Clerk.
Here.
Did you call the roll call first, please? Thank you.
Absolutely. Mike Hudgens.
Here.
Andy Cooper. Here. Alex Sassoon. They're trying to remember the counts. Wayne Linsky.
Here.
Mary Smith.
Here,
Rich Barros.
Here.
George Provetta is absent. Alex. He said here in the chat. Great.
okay. Alex, are you on your way to this
Yep.
meeting?
Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm probably gonna be there at about 17 or 18 minutes past.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Mary Smith, Police Judge Pro Tem, conducting this meeting. Agenda approval. Do we have any changes? Bless you. Do we have any changes, amendments to the agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Public comment. Members of the public may speak for up to 3 minutes on topics not on the agenda. Written letters will be acknowledged but not read aloud. Any comments on agenda items can be submitted prior to the meeting. We've done that. Do we have anyone in the audience? Besides Alex driving?
No one is speaking, but we do have, Narayan set at the same time.
Okay. Thank you. First up, presentations. In lieu of Sergeant Straley, we have Lieutenant,
Right, yeah.
thank you. From the Crawford County Sheriff's Office. Take it away, sir.
Just an update on, I guess, May, we had about 154 calls of service, so the implementation of the two, deputies that are assigned to Georgetown. That, resulted in about an 18% increase in, calls of service from the previous month, about 20% increase for reports. No, there were 2 DUIs specifically associated with that proactive policing that, has been occurring with that. 5 arrests were made from Georgetown specifically. Currently, we do have the 2 that are assigned. The third, deputy that we assigned is currently in training, just graduated from the academy. On the 5th of June, so they're in their mini skills and they'll be transitioned to FTO, and once they're to FTO. Once that staffing is complete, which should be around mid-October, for their full training, we'll do that, something that, that's what our objective is. So obviously, you'll probably see them a little bit more. I was working last week, filling in with helping us coverage, on night shift. We did have some domestic violence calls here that we responded to. Any questions or comments, things that we can do better, or any questions kind of on our end?
I have a question for Dennis, and it'd be possible, I mean, so the truck ordinance that we're voting on tonight, who enforces, is that gonna be an SO? Okay, so we have a truck permit ordinance tonight that we're voting on, I guess,
Well,
considering.
you're considering the elements of that, and then
Thank
we're gonna go back and, Jerry's gonna do his magic on an ordinance that you're gonna look at. But also to clarify, it'll be a combination of work between the sheriff's office and us,
Okay.
because. Let's say there's a company that provides energy to the town, they're doing a big project at the dam. And they're up to like 10 calls a week. That's gonna be something that we're going to be administering with her, okay? And if they don't, or if we get reports from the citizens that there's trucks going up. Past 5 times a night, then we're gonna include the sheriff's office to enforce it that way.
Thank you for the clarification.
Anything else, and I think in addition, our records has handled about 35 man hours associated with just the routine paperwork associated, just. The proactive policing and everything else. I guess my question for you guys is that feedback for us, and we can do better, or you guys can help us speak with us.
I have a question. I've seen some of your guys on I-70. Are they able to enforce especially 3 o'clock in the afternoon till like 6 o'clock in the morning with the truck brakes, with the Jake brakes?
Jake brakes.
From that, is that part of the program?
And that's something that we routinely can cite into, the county, because it's obviously an issue, it's a unlawful take break, that's something that can be enforced,
Cause that is something that comes up at these meetings about every couple of months. And it just be something that if you were able to add them, so.
I can,
writing up a couple of truckers that might, send a message.
Where my previous agency, we had the same problem, having done myself, again, I'm off break, take breaks, I know it's a quality of life issue, it is loud and everyone. Also kind of weighing that too, with the safety aspect of it.
Sure.
Fortunately, with a lot of those drivers, they're not as experienced drivers, they're mountain passes, so it's gonna be one of those, I guess it's gonna be some discretion on that, based off of that, but we can also stop them for that, and then also do inspections on the vehicles specifically to see for brakes and everything else.
We also do interact with CSP on that when we receive complaints. And there are a couple of people in town that are regularly calling, to complain about it. The standard answer we get from them is, we'll do it when we have the resources available to do it, and that's not very often. So we really do look towards the sheriff's office to help us locally.
Are the deputies that are sitting on I-70? Are those the Georgetown deputies, or is that just part of your general patrol?
General.
Okay. And that could be reinforced, even if it's not necessarily the big breaks, but it could be a speeding citations instead of, which is probably easier to.
Or quick end or stuff like that as well. We, obviously, the section of Georgetown that is I-70, the Georgetown deputies can patrol as well, but generally, if you're seeing people further down on I-70, that's when they're.
So when they're sitting there on the median, though, that's not necessarily
Generally not.
Georgetown deputies.
That's generally
Okay,
not.
that's the answer I really wanted to hear.
Yeah. It's generally not going to be, a lot of times the CSP, and then it's gonna also be, just the general patrol of that, of those areas.
So in Sergeant Straley's report, the police judge had a question. She's not here tonight. I'm sitting in for her. She would just like clarification of proactive arrests. So if you could explain just on the record what that refers to, so that she can have that, and anyone else who may not know what that is.
So a proactive arrest would be something that we're not typically responding for a call for service, like the other night, we responded to domestic violence in progress. It was a felon in domestic violence with a weapon, so we respond to that, that is not a proactive, arrest, because we responded to someone who called. We called an on-view arrest, and we show up, we take the call, we determine that there was probable cause, we make the arrest. A proactive would be just through a proactive traffic enforcement or pedestrian contacts or consensual contacts, then they develop probable cause on that to make the arrest. Specifically those 2 DUI arrests, those are going to be typically a proactive type of policing. So our deputies that are assigned to Georgetown are making traffic contacts. They smell the odor of alcohol and then they make the arrest. That's some probable cause for DUI. So that would be what.
So self-initiated on the part of the deputy.
Correct. So anything proactive is also determined to be self-initiated, it just depends on what you wanna call it.
So the other thing we had asked Sergeant Straley to provide, and I'm not putting you on the spot for this, but just so you could bring it back. If we could get the number of citations that the Georgetown deputies are issuing here, whether it's traffic or parking. You know, even though the list says traffic stops, they don't always necessarily end in a citation or whatever. So if we could just have that data so that we could turn around and share with the community,
So
that,
we can get that citation and lines. Forward to the CPM. For the future.
anything else?
Something else?
Thank you guys. Great job.
Thank you so much. Making a difference.
On to the financial items. So the payables review June fifth through, let's break this down, June fifth through June 11th. What was the first one? Even though. Yep. Anyone have any questions?
The payment to the Georgetown Trust, 23,250 for Q2. Was that part of the?
That's good.
Thank you, okay. That's fine.
So have we received the funds from CDOT already for that?
Yes.
Okay. Typically, it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the trust invoices us, we in turn invoice CDOT, and CDOT turns around, pays us, and then we pay out to the trust, or we know that the check is coming.
CDOT sent an email saying that it was deposited into our account. I got the bills from the trust.
And so then once we know we've got the money, then we turn around and pay the trust.
Yeah.
So technically, it's Q2 for us, but it's not Q2 for the trust in CDOT because they're on a July 1, CDOT's on a July 1 fiscal year. So, okay.
The money is in the bank as of today, from CDOT.
That what?
The money from CDOT is in the bank as of today.
Okay, so we're good to mail the check.
You see that on July to June, or is it on
Yeah.
October to?
Now we
There's a week, we just finished Q4.
So is that their final payment to us for their fiscal year? So so this is the fourth payment we've received from CDOT to in turn send to the trust, because that's been an issue in the past. Oh, boy.
That's what I saw on payables, I was like, oh.
Okay,
We're pretty simple. We get the invoice, we make sure we get the money, we give them the check.
in theory, that's
Yeah.
exactly how it's supposed to work. On page 2 of those same payables, under the Georgetown Business Promotion Commission Fund, the donations to the advocates,
Oh, I thought that was on the next thing.
it's on both.
Oh, so you can see it on the other one.
So that is not a contribution coming from that particular fund.
Well, so actually, that was on my list of things to ask about too. So was,
And it appears twice. It appears on this payables and
And why did
it appears in the next one. Well, so that's the question. That's the $3,000 question.
or not 6, right? It's 3.
Or it could be
Three.
6.
It's not so, it's here. We'll check for you and correct it if it's in there.
Okay.
The advocates came in and requested you guys to support them, and you made a motion to make a donation to the three advocates.
That would be for the child care fund, that would be for the advocates.
The advocate.
It's just for the advocates, it's not, nothing to do with each other.
Okay,
So
so
it's
it comes up.
quoted as, so on the.
So wait, so let's
second
get
one-
to, let's wait till.
Sorry, yeah.
So
You see where
on
I'm going.
this first one, on June 5th through June 11th,
That's on this thing.
it's listed as a donation to the advocates. But it comes out of the business promotion fund, which
No,
it
No.
should not be coming out of that
Right.
fund.
correct.
So we will
Correct it. and
correct
we
it
will-
in that one.
We
Okay,
will make sure we're only paying them once.
okay.
Cause on the next one, when you're
All right,
ready.
so, any more questions from
Same answer
June
to that
5th to June 11th, or there's more questions? Don't jump ahead of me, everybody. Okay, so June 12th to June 17th.
So
So take it away.
the advocates on, so this this one here says contributions to child care fund, the first time I lost it. As the account, where did it go? Just had it.
It's not,
Work it on page, yes, it's 20, so the account on this one is 23-40-663, contribution to childcare. Clear Creek County Advocates contributions. So I just want to, it's school,
Answer.
okay, cool.
it will be.
I also have one more on this one too.
The school contributions will never be $3,000.
We made a contribution
I
to,
know we did an advocate still, yeah, so
well, there's advocates, and then we also did one to the scholarship.
that, which is the school foundation.
No, we're not discussing that. We're discussing the $3,000 to the advocates. So the correction will be made and
I
taken
have
out of
one
the
more on this
appropriate funds.
page too.
Go ahead.
What is UK family visit for March for Ron Grady?
So there was a junket, we'll call it, from the UK. 3 reporters came and visited. It was a marketing thing that was organized by Loveland Ski Resort.
Okay,
And they went through to different communities, Winter Park, Idaho Springs, town of Georgetown. Our assignment was that they were going to stay overnight here and that they were gonna eat at 5-11. And the BPC was going to pay for the meals. So Ron was very gracious in hosting them. It turned out to be a great event there. And then he just was slow in his invoicing of the town for those meals, and he just got it. So
So it's my understanding though, on that particular one also, that the check should actually be written to 511 Rose, the restaurant, as opposed to Ron Grady. So can we check into that a little bit further, and perhaps under the description, you put Loveland visit as opposed to the UK family visit? Loveland
we
would
can,
have,
we can put whatever description in you want, but Ron asked for it to be cut to him.
to become personal, you know, okay.
I think what happened there was, I think Ron covered it that night,
Yeah.
and then he was asking for the reimbursement later after he remembered he had submitted it.
Does anyone else have any questions on this particular approval report? I have a couple more, but. Alex, we're on the second one, June 12th through June 17th.
Okay, thank you. Apologies for being nice.
No, that's okay, we're glad to see you. So my questions, the first page of the June 12th to June 17th report, under Parks and Rec, the electricity, gas and electricity payouts, the ballpark. Can I safely assume that we're actually referring to Whirland Park? Or do we have a ballpark? The only ballpark I know of is the one up
It's
at the
Whirland.
railroad. So can we correct that so that it's more accurate, please?
I think it's called ballpark on the official Excel description, which we can change at this point. So we can fix that for your notes, so you guys know.
Yeah, we can fix that.
It's pretty archaic since it's been a ball.
It says that, no,
It used to be,
it says, well, it says that nobody over the age of 14 can play ball in the park.
I know, but that was before we had a name for the park too. And then back to the Business Promotion Commission Fund, the special events, the blaster, bouncer, the dunk tank. I believe Anna's following up with you on this particular invoice. It should. There was a sales tax component to that invoice that needs to be remediated since we're not charged tax. So we don't wanna cut that check for,
We'll hold it until
Okay.
Annette's back in the office, and she'll be back Thursday, I think. And at that time, we'll get that information from him.
okay,
Thank you for bringing that up.
any other questions? Sales tax report. Can we push the sales tax report back to the staff report, just in case anyone has any questions?
That's up to the board, whatever you want.
Everybody,
Yeah. I will note that you already had this given to you once, and it was just the timing last time that we had the new report for April. Hugh, what is that stuff usually around the 9th of the month? 9th of the month. Yes.
okay, you have a copy of, we're moving on. Item number 6, minutes approval. You have a copy in front of you of changes, corrections that I know Georgia and I have both submitted to Bridget that are reflected in this. Does anyone else have anything to add? Is there a motion to
Make the motion to accept the minutes.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, which is actually the first action item. Consideration of the appointment of Paul Bo to the Business Promotion Commission.
Okay. You want me to do it?
Is there anything that needs to be expounded on, or is it everybody figure this out now?
We have 3 vacancies on the BBC. Paul was serving as an alternate, and the board recommended his appointment as a full member. So that's what's before you this evening.
We will also fulfill the requirement on the commission to have 3 members that are either business license holders or work at a nonprofit.
All right, okay, motion,
I move to appoint Paul Cook to the Business Promotions Commission as a full member. Sorry.
been motioned and seconded by Dwayne, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And number 2, consideration of ordinance amendment number 6, changing the town's water meter replacement policy, first reading.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Police Pro Tem. The only change I would highlight this evening is on the ordinance number 6, series 2026 that Jerry's put together. Under the section 13.12.200, you'll see I think it's about the 3rd line from the bottom where it says the town will pay for the cost of a new meter. We want to add the words and accessory parts, both as to the meter itself and its installation. Just those 3 words. We had that discussion during the work session.
I had it as necessary adapters, they probably were the same things, just different semantics.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, discussion?
Yeah, just about when you tell folks that you're gonna replace them. Like, are you giving, give them 30 days notice or tomorrow?
We're not proactively replacing these. These are meters that are reported to us as not functional.
Okay,
So if somebody calls in and says, my meter reads off, it's crazy, we think my meter's broken, we go out and look at it, and if we confirm that it's broken, then we replace the meters. And
I see.
now they have to pay $650, and then their plumber has to do the installation. And under this new, after you adopt this under 2nd reading, the town will say, here, we're gonna schedule the replacement for you.
Thank you.
Here's a motion. Recommendation in front of you, we want to make that motion.
Motion. It is moved that the board of selectmen adopt ordinance amendment number 6 on the 1st reading, amending the town's water meter replacement policies.
Second.
All baby.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
It's fine, BBC, and then you want this chair too?
Pro Tim.
Calm down, you can have it. It's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, consideration of an intergovernmental agreement regarding Proposition 123 shared affordable housing credits.
Yes, I'll be doing this one. So the staff at Idaho Springs has drafted an intergovernmental agreement to share the credit for the affordable units that they have come online. This will allow everyone in the region to meet the Prop 123 commitments that are required by the end of the 2026 period. There are no financial obligations. It outlines a method of us sharing in the future, but it's not required that we do so. Even in the event that we want to, it says only after we've met our own threshold, so. It's pretty straightforward for meeting our legal requirements for property.
Haven't we already met our requirements? With the
We
vacant
have,
flats?
we have units coming online, but they are not built yet, so we are required to have 14 units. This makes it very simple to calculate that. We, I think, have 5 units already, so those exist, but we still have some extra that we will need to hunt around town for naturally recurring affordable housing. Unless somehow Lakeview Flats builds everything by the end of 2026, which I highly doubt, then we want to do this. This makes it very simple.
They seem to be working on the ground at the moment.
Say again?
They seem to be working on the ground at the moment.
They actually did send us a park update today, so they are working, but that's on the park, not on the actual units.
So I realize this is Idaho Springs IGA, but why is the central city included in Clear Creek County?
They're sharing with everyone in the region, not just the county. So Gilpin is included in that region.
And then one of the summary lines, it says Georgetown is obligated to provide the 14 units over the 2023-2026 period. I just want to verify that those calendar years are correct.
Yes.
So we have to come up with 9 more units by the end of the year.
Yes. So this covers us.
But we're covered by this.
We're covered by it.
Understood, I get it,
Yeah.
We don't have enough. They have extras. Well, fall
excellent,
under the umbrella.
thank you.
And then we were having the conversation today that eventually some of those communities are gonna fall under our umbrella.
I understand now, thank you, I apologize, I was slow
No.
to catch on.
So our plan is to share Lakeview Flats, some units in Lakeview Flats in a similar IGA when they're available.
Yeah.
It's
This
hard.
IGA outlines an opportunity for us to write a very simple letter on how the sharing will be allocated, that all of the parties can agree to under the terms of this IGA, so we don't have to do another IGA, it's just a letter amendment basically for any future sharing.
And so the 3% that we have to conform to, meet whatever, each year for each period. Is that, and I'm sure we discussed this when we originally put this in, but remind me. Does it continue to compound basically? So on top of the 14, is that, or is it based on our original? We have 0 affordable, and so we just added 3. And then the next year, we're only adding.
Are you asking what will be obligated to conform with Prop 123 in the future?
As time goes on, and I mean, we have the opportunity to Lakeview Flats to fall into that, but that's.
The state requires that we do a housing needs assessment, which we met our obligation to that by reviewing the Dr. Hogg assessment at the last meeting. And then they asked us to prepare a housing action plan, which the housing authority is working on right now. That would give us an idea of how much housing is needed. And then I believe our Prop 123, and I will look into this more, because I don't know for sure, but our Prop 123 obligations are based on that housing action plan and that housing needs assessment. It's not a perpetual feature, and I did talk to Dola about that specifically, because I was like, Georgetown has a limited ability to build, like, we cannot develop infinitely, so, how does that work? And she basically said, like, there is a max capacity basically, but naturally occurring affordable housing is also something that we can consider. So like, if we were to bring existing housing down to an affordable rate, that would be considered adding to our queue of affordable housing.
Thank you. The only other thing on this IGA is that we just need to insert our police judge's name and title on the. Yeah, there's a bunch of titles missing. I don't care about those, I just. Any other questions? We have a recommended motion, anyone want to make it? Mr. Housing Authority Representative?
I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement regarding Proposition 123 share of Porcelain housing credits.
Second.
Any more discussion? Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, consideration of updates to the town of Georgetown truck haul permit.
Thank you. The item number 4 this evening is the starting point for us to adopt a new ordinance regarding truck hauling. Why is this important? Because as I alluded to earlier in the conversation, when Xcel Energy begins their dam decommissioning project, they will be significantly increasing their truck hauling traffic through town and up to Middle Pass. And more than likely including heavy load transit. So when we reviewed the current hauling permit, which I provided for you in the packet this evening, it's a very basic permit. It also has the DOT charts for hazardous materials. And in the memorandum, I tried to summarize what is included in the permit now. And those things that are included are the authorization for multiple trips under a single permit, which is good for whoever the hauler is. A vehicle description and identification requirements, permitted hours of operation between 7 AM and 7 PM. Designation of approved haul routes and a permit fee of $250. And clearly, that is not going to meet our needs in terms of protecting our infrastructure as well as the citizens of the community or nonprofit organizations or service organizations like the school district who has busing going through town at different times. So the ordinance provides for a number of options for the town administrator to include in the hauling permit. And those I have listed under current permit under the summary at the very top, there's 10 points that could be added at the discretion of the town administrator. And we are recommending under recommended permit enhancements, a long bullet point of things that we would like to include in an amendment to the hauling permit. And we're just asking for you to look at this buffet list this evening and sign off on these bullet points. If there's something that is missing that you would like added, we can do that this evening. Or if there's something that you think shouldn't be included in the permit, we can remove that. And once we've identified the list, then I will have Jerry draft up an amendment to the ordinance, including those bullet points. And including some of the specifics on some of those bullet points that we have not addressed this evening. So I'm looking for some direction from the board on what additional bullet points you'd like to add to the permit.
What about, because they are considering doing this during the leaf peeping season? The bullet points, I'm wondering how that addresses that load on the pass.
That would be
the kind of haul.
Yeah, that would be the third bullet from the bottom. Implement more restrictive hauling windows for high frequency users to reduce conflicts with peak traffic periods, pedestrians and special events.
Okay. How do you quantify that?
We would pick a period during the year that we would not allow it to happen.
Okay.
So leaf peeping, great example. If we know leaf peepings are the last 2 weeks of September, first week of October, we would address that with a period of time that we do not want them to be followed. I'm of the mind that the easiest way to do that is to select that period annually because leaf peeping is gonna move. And when they come in and say, we're gonna be hauling in September, we'll tell them, you can't haul from this date and that date.
Very good.
But do we know, are they going to be hauling on a weekend? Which I would very much doubt.
Well, during the week is during leaf peeping season, it can get really busy.
And remember, the counties and us are encouraging visitors to do so on the weekdays too, so.
And Iowa Springs.
I can foresee a situation where Excel is moving pipe up Guanella Pass. We have really bad weather for a week or two and they say they're behind schedule, so they're gonna be hauling for 14 days straight without interruption. And we wanna be able to say, no, you're not doing that.
They stage those trucks in the top of Third. And we see them driving all the time with us. Like, it's constant.
This is very responsible, so active.
They're like ginormous work trucks. I don't know, I'm not. They've got, some of them have boom, some of them have like a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of, yeah.
But they're not hauling, they're just maintenance trucks at this point.
I don't know if they're hauling, I mean,
There was a time where they had a contractor up there and they were relocating the electrical lines from one side of the road to the other so that they could get heavy equipment into the reservoir. And so they've continued to do that. There's been a lot of tree trimming up there over this last few months. The big deal though, I mean, these are all very important points, I think, and I would ask that you say, go ahead with all of them, Dennis. But the focus, the real one is protecting the roadways. So if we have a big rig going down the hauling route once a day and it's, you know, it's hauling a 2-ton, 4-foot diameter bypass pipe, then I guarantee you it's not gonna take long before that road is rubble and we are the ones, the taxpayers of the town are gonna have to pay for that. We wanna make sure that we're protecting the taxpayers by making Excel pay for that reconstruction. So we need them to document the road before and after they do the work. We need them, have them provide some type of line of credit or a bond so that we can access funds if we need to. All those things have to be done. And quite honestly, in talking with different people, this is not something that's onerous or out of the ordinary for a company like this. So these should be readily accepted. I say that with a little bit of whining and crying, but they should be able to adhere to this.
I'm not sure $1 million is enough when you think of the span that they're using. And so if it is $1 million, I think we need to fine tune what that area would be limited to. So that on this stretch, it's $1 million, on this stretch, it's $1 million, or up the ante on that. The fifth bullet that you have for the pre and post haul photographic documentation. I don't wanna see that just left up into their hands. I would want us to be a part of that. Definitely the pre-haul. Whether it's low flying drones that we get it from, or, you know, or however we're going to deal with that. The school transportation conflict mitigation plan, I don't know offhand what the impact would be on the bus routes, but I would personally like to see that they aren't moving vehicles during drop off and pickup times on school days. I mean, they could do it whenever on Fridays, but
yeah,
you know, and limit that so that there's a good, you know, hour span or so. You address the events piece. How we're going to engage the county deputies for the enforcement. Because if they're staging wherever, you know, or how we're gonna get, if they're limited to 10, how often is it gonna be 12? You know, they just sneak another one through. And is one trip up and down, is that considered once, or is that two
Yeah.
trips?
That's two.
So I think that needs to be defined. And on this particular application that we're amending, to maybe add even the axles, the type of load that they're carrying, and then this says in bold, escort is required for hauls of truck trailer length of 53 feet. I'm not sure why that's the designator, but, and then in greater when going over Guanella Pass, like from Georgetown to Grant, or on Guanella Pass Road.
The only part of Guanella Pass Road that this dictates is up to the end of the town.
Which is ours exactly, so, but over connotates, you know, we're just, I know, you know, but let's make sure that we're not tripped up on false words here, and I'm assuming we're gonna up the 250?
What's 250?
The-
Oh, yeah, yeah. We gotta pay for the broken roads.
Wow,
So the next, our action is to recommend that you draft a motion. I mean, you draft.
Including all these bullet points.
and we'd like to see it back before we, yeah. If something else strikes us.
Oh, yeah, July 14th, you're gonna see it.
Okay.
And how congruent will they be with, county hauling? Since so much of that road runs right before you get into town.
Yeah, so the beauty of the hydro team is that we share information continually, and so Stoy has shared his hauling permit that they have in place for the county, as well as their use of public property for staging, heavy equipment, all that stuff, using the right of ways. So we share that all the time, and right now, this is becoming timely because they just sent us a property manager that's going to be negotiating easements for use of public property. And we want to have this ready for them so that they can count on that. Keep them moving.
It's good stuff.
One of the ways that we could deal with the proposed $1 million bond would be to have some sort of wording on it that that's not a cap in any way.
We've done it by $1 million per incident up to 3 million. When we've done additional insurance stuff, and I'm sure you guys have. The town, we've done that.
I'm just saying needs additional wording.
What I plan to do is to lay out the truck route. Lineal feet of roadway that could potentially be reconstructed and then give it an estimate on what it would cost to fix it. And if it's $6 million, then the bond would be $6 million.
Yes, but we shouldn't have a cap on it.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but when you issue the bond, you can't tell them I'm changing the bond in a week. The bond is the bond, and so you try to be as aggressive as you can, and if you think you need $10 million, you do a $10 million bond, and then they have to put that up, the insurance company will release those funds if we can make a claim against it. If we use all the funds up, then we're into probably a new bond for a lawsuit. Right?
How many feet of roadway is Georgetown, do you know?
I don't know, I kind of have to put that. I see, I have a little measuring wheel over there, I walk around town with it.
Let's start a good one for that.
But it's not as fun though, Dwayne.
I do notice it more so.
The other thing which concerns me is that with the switchbacks here, it would be so easy, particularly for an inexperienced driver for that type of road, to actually lose it. And you can imagine the truck is going this way, the pipes are going that way, we have houses now. That could be quite substantial.
I think that's a different liability on their part though than the damage to the road that we're considering for the whole permit. I really get where you're going with that, but I
As
think
a
that
house
falls into-
person there,
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch that all the time.
You might want it to happen, I don't know.
I don't, no.
That was a big python, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, we haven't.
So you and Jerry are gonna work on a new process and application and
Yep.
bring it back to us at our next
14th.
meeting on the 14th. We'll mark our calendars.
Once you vote on it.
But you'll need to take a motion to direct it,
Do you want
do
to?
I do,
Okay.
please.
because I would appreciate that there's support for this whole list,
Okay,
which I'm hearing there is. And I will tell you, I think this will result in 2 products. One will be an amendment to the code. And another likely will be, an edited and enhanced version of permit document. Because really the code gives authority on topics. And then you translate that into reality for permit number 10 for doll excavating. And you wanna make sure that the permit form was taken of taking the guidance from the code and implementing it. So you take 2 lines, say, from the 2 products, I think we'll want to present.
You'll see on the 14th.
so Jerry, perhaps you would like to help one of the selectmen word that into a motion and then they will so move.
I think our proper motion would be to direct the town minister and town attorney to prepare amendments to the all route code ordinance and associated permit documents.
So moved.
Secondly,
So moved and seconded, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So,
Carries.
I'll put the video, and I'm not sure if that's something, but I figure about this. I'm maybe visually, I'm supposed to, I really.
Okay. We are on to reports, the police judge and board of selectmen reports. I'm gonna change my voice and I'm gonna sound like Georgia. Georgia gave me a report that she would like shared with you. From the police judge, she attended the Clear Creek Economic Development Corporation board meeting. And she's looking forward to learning more about their upcoming projects. She attended the 4th of July volunteer meeting at the Hotel de Paris last weekend, I believe. It was well attended and Anna did a great job. She compliments the HDP on their meeting venue. S'mores, she attended S'mores Knit in Public Day, sponsored by Ruth Hamilton in her Close and Full shop. It was very popular. They experienced knitters and volunteer knitters and new learners. It was a great success. Last Saturday was the S'mores Summer Solstice, sponsored by Nicel Anderson. It was also a huge hit. They had specialized s'mores with original peanut butter cup and raspberry chocolate s'more options. They looked so good. They were Ghirardelli, weren't they? Flowers were purchased for bouquets, faces were painted, crafts were enjoyed. Adults enjoyed a taste of the wildflower gin Collins, and also on offer was a berry lemonade. This coming Monday, the 29th, is the Citizen of the Year Award dinner, which is honoring Cindy Neely. I believe it's sponsored by Ripples of Impact, which is the new nonprofit that is replacing the community centers nonprofit. The group is bringing back the award that was presented back in the early 2000s. The event will be held at the fine restaurant we all know and love, Cooper's on the Creek. And tickets are available at Eventbrite. I believe Georgia's planning on attending. And then I'm sure the selectmen may speak more to this, but the award to SIPs is scheduled for July.
Let me check again, I'm sure I think it's the 18th.
16th.
Thank you.
Thursday.
Thank you.
It's Thursday the 16th.
Okay. So that is the police judge's report. Board of Selectmen reports, Rich Barrows.
want to thank Alpine Inn and Sasha's. They're gonna provide pizza for the kids that are coming up to paint over some of the graffiti on Colorado Day. Thank you very much. The fire authority meeting was moved till tomorrow night, so I don't have a report for that. We'll set our next meeting, and I had a great meeting today, always educational. That honoree for the Citizen of the Year, Miss Cindy Neely, about attending and taking over a spot on the I-70 collaborative. That meets 2 or 3 times a year.
Thank you, sir. Alex.
No report.
Mary. Oh, report.
Nothing to report.
Amanda.
No report.
Dwayne.
I got a report actually. I was able to catch up with, me, our new executive director of our housing authority. Very knowledgeable. Yeah, it'll be a tough road. But she's definitely professional and has a lot. So, and we had a meeting a few weeks ago.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. Last Monday, and I think it has a little bit of a report, so we kind of update you on that stuff.
All right. Thank you. Town attorney report, what's it on?
No report, thank you. All right.
Staff reports, town clerk, Bridget.
The only thing I'll add is that the slash permitting is now finalized. We Dennis and I met with Cameron and Katie last week to finalize their street closure map. We communicated their reservation and street closure plans to our necessary people. They're still on the lookout for some volunteers for the day of, so if you know anyone that's interested, contact either to Google, go to the website, there's a QR code, you can follow the software website. Or you can reach out to town staff, and they'll point in the right direction. The other event update is today I issued the liquor permit for the 4th of July, and so we have a special event liquor permit for all of for the commercial district, 500 blocks of 6th Street. It'll be really fun. And I reached out to the farmers market coordinators today to start working with them on what permitting they need for the farmers market that are coming up in the next couple of months here on 6th Street. Other than that, I'll be out for the rest of the week. My family's having to celebrate Davis's first birthday.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Are we going to put up signs for the slacker similar to the borough race to just alert the residents as to what areas might be impacted, or how is that gonna be communicated?
Sent out a mailer to everyone in town that includes, the amplified sound notice, the street closure map. And then our road bridge team is gonna put out those barricades, like stage them at least a day or two before, sorry, the mailer's just for 4th of July.
That is for the forest.
Yeah,
Cause so Saturday's the slacker, so how does everybody know what the route is and where they want to avoid, if they want to avoid?
we're gonna have the barricades staged, I know at least a day before, and that's gonna have, we asked Katie and Cameron if they had any sign this to provide it to us. But other than that, we didn't have any additional things.
That's what we did last year, and I understand we've done in the past, is we put barricades out ahead of time, so everybody has noticed that the street's gonna be closed, but we haven't had any kind of communication fine saying, like the borough was.
So is City Park gonna be used?
Yes, they've reserved City Park and the town event on Argentine, I believe.
Is there a newsletter going out between now and the slacker? Or are we off week?
I have to check the schedule, I thought we just sent one out, but we could do
Or can we post something on the website, just to communicate, so, yeah.
I did post something on the website, there is an announcement there, Katie informed me that they didn't get their public notice in time in the paper, so they posted it now on the Georgetown website, the county website, and the SAC website. With some more attention.
So is it posted on our website?
Yes.
I'm looking at it, okay. So that
I
people,
think they're charging quite a bit for VIP parking in the event parking lot.
okay,
This.
thank you, Bridget. Anna, anything from Anna other than the report? Anna's not with us tonight, I don't think.
Nope.
Great. Any questions that need to go to Anna, through the town administrator, and once, and twice?
I like for social media analytics that she's including in her report. I just wanted to say that.
Sounds like
Good information.
Thank you. Staff report from our treasurer. Hugh, what do you got for us? What do you wanna highlight?
Yeah, funds.
We have the funds? Yay,
We're sorry,
all of them?
all of them. Phones and cases, everything. Couldn't get completely sequential phone numbers, but each department they're not sequential, they are similar. Or close.
We're working on a policy for that,
Done. We have a policy for,
we didn't see it,
yeah, you want it?
that's. The expectations,
Okay.
thank you,
I can forward it to you
thank you.
sometime in the future. I'll do it for the next few weeks.
Send it in there, please. Any questions on the other information that you provided to us on the sales tax and that I kind of push back to this? I have a request to share with you that on this particular form, that if you could use the same colors for 2024 and 25 and 26 on both sides so that they're consistent? Apparently they're not. Thank you.
And we're moving this report to the staff report.
To the staff report, so that it's just the payables review and then everything else can come here.
Would you like the same thing with the budget year-to-date report?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay. Assistant Town Administrator, Pooja, you're up.
The only thing I really wanted to highlight was that Joan Eaton has been serving on the Design Review Commission for 22 years. And she is resigning to move to Arkansas. And I think that, you know, she deserves, if you see her, just thank you. That's a very long time to be a volunteer for the town and grateful for her. There's a thank you card. If you guys would like to sign it, the DRC has their own separate card. But this is an official one.
So CK, before we leave.
Yes.
Thank you.
So make sure you sign this. And if you have any questions on my report, I'm not gonna answer.
Do you feel like it's going okay with safe vote right now?
Yeah.
Simple, fast. I like the information.
Ask Wayne.
So the third bullet,
They did an awesome.
the third bullet that you've got, staff met with Dola to discuss the LPC grant, what's LPC?
Local planning capacity. That's the $50,000
Okay,
default grant.
the ERC thing,
It's for the comprehensive plan.
okay. Where's the mural proposed to go that the DRC was used to propose mural ordinance?
It's an ordinance, it's not a specific location, so I let them look at it to comment on it, and Jerry and I are working on a proper ordinance for you to review for a change. But it outlines rules for where and what kind of content and how the murals would be approved. It's not about a particular mural.
Do we have a particular idea for a mural in a particular area that we will be
Actually,
looking
no.
forward to?
Actually, no, the original impetus for this was Mr. Prosick is working on a painting for the whistle stop, but the DRC determined that it was not a mural, it's just very simple
Right,
mountain rectangle or triangles, and they were like, that's not really a mural, so they don't have jurisdiction over design of a building, but a mural, which part of this ordinance outlines what counts as a mural and what doesn't. I need to work on some definitions on that, but yeah, Jerry and I are working on a formal one, but I wanted the DRC to get their hands on it first because I wasn't sure if they would just use really opposed to anything. They had shockingly no comments for me. They're like, this looks great. And I was like, are you sure? So we're gonna show it to the Parks Commission also before you guys see it, so.
and then the planning commission and the recreational rentals in the historic commercial district?
Yes, that will be coming in front of you also as an ordinance amendment. Mike Davenport is preparing a staff memo for you. The planning commission reviewed it and are making a recommendation to approve it to you guys. But you'll have final say on that, so.
So then that will go to Jerry to rewrite that code.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the easy one to draft, once they've decided what they want.
So are we just leaning to, are we going to change it so the commercial district that we're allowing recreational rentals,
As a special use.
part, why special use, what's the,
Because things like that, you want to have conditions attached to them and you want to consider them on a case by case basis. You don't want a blank. Here, we're gonna just allow recreational rentals throughout the whole district. And that's the way we've done it in the Gateway District. So right now, the whistle stop is going to rent e-bikes and he has to get a special use permit to do that in that district. And so we're just matching up with that in the historic district.
is there language that we could create that would smooth out that so that we're not seeing those applications and delaying that
That's what-
process?
Yep, that's what Jerry's gonna do because we want to be able to handle those on the planning commission level, right?
If you wanted to, you could direct staff to offer you an option to make it a use by rights. It's like very limited version of it is a use by right with some things like e-bikes being a special use. That's up to you guys get to decide that.
why would we be singling out e-bikes?
That's the
Recreational.
main thing that people have been,
Well, I understand that, and I know recreational rentals seems to incorporate a broader definition, and I know our original code was written well before that particular type of business or product, as in an e-bike, was even in
Well,
existence.
it's not the product, it's the use. So rentals for recreational purposes have been used for years and years and years and years. It's not a brand new thing. But the reason I want you to do this as a special use, is I want the board to retain some control on how many of these you allow in a district. If you do not want Sixth Street to just turn into a bike farm, or you do not want the pedestrian conflict from door to door to door to door to exist all along Sixth Street, that's gonna be a big problem. So by having it as a special use permit, you retain some control on saying, okay, we've got enough of those. We don't wanna do anymore. But if it's a use by right, then if they meet the code, then they get it. There's no stopping them. You can't say, no, we've had enough of those rentals. You'd have to go back and change the
And here
code.
we are trying to boost the economics, the commercial economics on Sixth Street and throughout Georgetown. And yet we're stifling the businesses that might produce income and visitors and growth to that
Stifling is a
place.
strong word, because all we're doing is asking them to get a permit, like we would with a special event, for example. We hand those out all the time, right? And we're doing pretty good.
If you've ever been to Zion, you realize how many people on bikes and how much. I felt like it was a problem, just from us just, oh, let's go walk on this bike path, and you got a dozen people, like 3 families coming by. And there isn't really a speed on that, if you don't keep control of it, it will become a problem, it's not like being on a simple bicycle. Yeah,
there is
fun,
speed in
let's
it.
blast down the street.
Which no one pays
If
attention.
you've ever known, an e-bike is capped at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so,
Class 1, class 2.
well, take, yeah,
if,
it's different.
we do have, we will show you the ordinance at the next meeting, right? So you guys can have discussions.
I'd like to see, I'd like to have the opportunity for our board to discuss door number 1 and door number 2, and then Jerry can provide us with a third at that time.
Well, I know, to your point, Alex, I mean, yeah, they go 20 miles an hour, we have roads that we just do with 15, bike paths are 15 miles an hour. If they hit somebody going 20 miles an hour, it's gonna cause damage, if we don't have a way to control it. Then that becomes
But
bad,
that
I mean, that's a long way off.
That's not on the rental
we-
business,
wait,
though,
that-
that's on the
that's-
driver of the particular
Yeah,
vehicle.
True, but if the place is renting out 100 of them. You know, we're like, oh, cool, but that they're allowed to do that, so no big deal.
I've seen this personally. If you've been to Crested View, there's a block there of a giant pizza place. What's the name of the pizza place? Everybody knows it. Yeah, okay. Right next to it is a bike rental place, and I watched as the little kids took their bikes out of the rental place. They staged them right on the sidewalk in the front. And while the people that ran the rental place did a really good job of policing it, 10 of those would not be so easy to do. So I think there is a serious pedestrian safety issue that has to be. And if we want to make it a use by right, that's fine. We just need to think a little bit more ahead on the safety issue, and that's okay. I just figured the easy way would be to retain control at this board level on the special use and be able to say, okay, we've had enough of those. We're not going to grant any more special uses for recreational rentals.
So when we
Is this-
see that in front of us,
So on the
Is this
14th,
just on e-bikes, or is this something like, so we don't have 10 paddleboard
Yeah.
and kayaks?
Oh,
companies? And,
yes,
because then you might have to start paying for staff to
yeah.
make sure those things are clean and you don't have an invasive species in the
Well,
lake and the drinking
It doesn't
water.
matter how many rental shops you have, it's a basic demand. You know, if 10 rental shops are able to survive, you know, so be it. One rental shop, you just get 100 more boards.
Sure.
Yeah,
And so if there's demand for it, I don't think we have that much of a
no, you
demand.
just said recreational, and so I didn't know.
Because I'm just including this as a summary for, you guys will get the full presentation at the next
Okay.
meeting.
Well, fair enough, but I mean, we always have that for businesses, I mean, take a man's business. She's only allowed to have so many people inside the business at a time. That's a people. Well, right, you're right about whether or not I think it's police.
Correct. No, but no, you're 100%, I do, and that is, correct.
That's mainly a fire code.
Yeah, right, of course, but if you, but
You
it's
guys have
safe.
questions on anything else in my report?
So we'll see it on, we'll see it on July 14th.
What happened to your speedy meeting? We're losing it.
We'll see it on July 14th.
They can change that.
Last question on your report. The bullet that says staff met with Casella and Axiom to learn about the web-based interface that's gonna be accessible to everybody. What is gonna be accessible to us? Why do we need it? And what are we migrating and how is that helping us?
So the web-based interface is, right now, there's an application that's on my computer. That's how I access the cell. They're making a website basically, and we can allow whoever we want to look at year-to-date budget reports, or, I mean, that's the main thing that I was thinking of for you guys. You can go look at that list.
If you, a lot of municipalities these days have things called dashboards. And so what the dashboard is gonna do is just be a front window to say what your budget year-to-date numbers are. So every time Q goes in and updates those things, whether you choose to do a quarterly, monthly, whatever it is, those can immediately go up onto the website and be a portal to how we're spending money, and it's a step forward in transparency. And this is the first step with Casell by being able to move stuff to the cloud and.
Yeah,
make that
and then
work.
AWS is a cloud-based server, so it eliminates our need to maintain some of the server energy that we have here. It's lower, it's lower. Like my laptop can't access Excel right now. I have to log in and portal into my computers. Excel is so energy, it's so computer, I really lost.
It's using a lot of
It's
compute.
using a lot of compute, yeah, so I
Using a lot
can't
of
use my
bandwidth.
laptop. But the AWS version will be, simpler. The UI is still the same, basically.
So when do we anticipate having that?
They haven't scheduled that transport yet, but it'll probably be this month, I would guess.
Okay.
June or July?
Within the month. And I'm taking a week off in July, so 5 weeks.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Anything else for Keisha? We're up.
Okay.
I already said I said 6:29, we already blew that.
I said 7:20, so I'm gonna drag this out for 18 minutes.
Crack that whip.
The first item on my report, if I could, and no, actually, I wanted to highlight a couple of things. We met with DOLA this week to organize the August training event that we all talked about with the board of commissions and then the refresher for you.
Governance.
So Todd Leopold is doing that and he is making a schedule. We went through what kind of topics we want to cover. He's very excited about it and we're targeting mid-August. So we're fitting between Colorado days and leaf peeping. I think that'll be good. And we're going to record that so that if any of our boards and commissions want to review it at a later date, or maybe annually, they can pull it up and they can see what the presentation is. Bridget already talked about the organizing meeting with the Slacker team, the parking, the signage and street closures. If you go out onto Argentine tonight or the next few days and you go by the event parking, you're gonna see it looks a lot different. What we were able to do is commandeer a bunch of free boulders. And we're using those as the dividing line between a couple of rows of parking. The Slacker team asked for, Bridget, I think it was 80 parking spaces, and we're committing 200. So we're very excited about setting up the event parking area for the whole summer, and it's gonna be a great thing.
We found free rocks in the
Free
Rocky
rocks, you know, Rocky Mountains. I've been told that some of those boulders are worth $3,000 or $4,000.
Oh, they're ours now, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
I think possession, right, since the law was
On last Friday, I met with Jamie and Lil to talk over the transition for the community center. That included things like sorting duties, continuing part-time employees, how they collect fees. And going over the calendar that's coming up, we have Pioneers renting that, so we have to work with Paul Bowe on that upcoming event. I talked about the event planning already. Oh, you're gonna see the water and sewer teams out on Sixth Street and Seventh Street today, and then they're gonna continue to move throughout town. They're doing the annual sewer jetting, They tried to get 6th Street, 7th Street knocked off today so they could get out of the downtown area and clear out. A couple things that I did not include in my report. We ordered decals for our new vehicles. And we used a certain contractor that wasn't able to deliver, so we kicked them to the curb and we've got a new one now. We're hoping to have those yet this week or early next week. I don't know if you heard, but there was a motorcycle accident on 6th Street on Sunday, I think it was. A gal lost control of her motorcycle here at the corner of Rose and 6th. She bottomed out in one of the storm drain troughs. Lost control, hit one of our barrels, and the barrel flew across the sidewalk and hit the corner monument with the brick seating, but nobody was hurt, including the flowers. And then I also wanted to point out that our interim supervisor for the utilities, Eric, has been on vacation for the last couple of weeks. I mentioned it for 2 reasons. Eric desperately needed that vacation time. He has been going nonstop since, I would say, back in October. And I'm glad that he had some time off to recuperate, but also the guys that are working for Eric have done an awesome job of taking on the tasks and self-directing their work while he's been gone. So if you see them, please say a little good job, thank you, appreciate it. That's it.
Can you have any feedback on whether Safeville can incorporate business license checks, alcohol licenses, permits, speed permits on their code enforcement?
I can ask them, but we've asked them in different places about adding services, including those. One of the biggest things we've asked them is, could they do the final confirmation on DRC approvals? And they would have to step up to do that, but we can ask them and find out.
And can you include a report in the future from our financial consultant on this?
Sure. Yep, got a meeting with her this week, that'd be fun.
Okay, it's really my turn, but someone else can do my job. Motion to adjourn.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is